And welcome back to Legacy NFL Live. All right, guys. Week 8 is in the books. Let's go through some standings and some playoff scenarios, okay? And then through this past week, of course, as well, too. Let me bring up the league page here. There we go. All right. Big matchups this week. First game you see there, Rams, 49ers. That was absolutely huge this week. It really puts the Rams in the position there to really start to grab a hold of the division race for the 49ers. It's really a strange year in the sense that they got a great team, good team. I think that 49ers team is still one of the best teams in the NFC conference, but as of right now, finds themselves out of playoffs. Bills beat the Chargers, no surprise there. Though the Chargers put up a nice showing there. Broncos took care of business. Broncos staying in first place because the Raiders lost. Raiders losing to the Jets here. We saw that. Jets are the surprise team for me, and they're putting up a lot of points. I could have saw Rob said he was breaking it down, but he's winning games. And we'll take a look at the playoff scenario, but I think he's going to be in as of right now. Patriots beat the Chiefs. The Chiefs are falling right now. I know Corey usually puts up a pretty good team, but dropping 3-5 in this conference is pretty devastating. Patriots hanging in there 4-4. We'll see what their playoff chances look like. Still going to be tough. How about the Browns, Dan's team? This team is just steamrolling. It's putting up a bunch of points. It's got a three-headed monster at running back. Obviously, the rest of the team is solid. Don't get me wrong, but that three-headed monster at the running back position is going to be tough to beat. Steelers, Titans. Let's see here. Titans get to 5-3, and you know Ricky's team. He's been kind of quiet, kind of hanging low in third place, right behind the Jaguars. But I really believe Ricky's got some good talent on that team. It's a strong team when you look at it from top to bottom. That roster, I think that the Titans are kind of a surprise team to keep an eye on as we go further into the season. Eagles, Commanders. Oh no, excuse me. I skipped there. Let's see here. Jaguars, Ravens. A little bit of an upset there. Nate at 229 to 219 over the Jaguars. Excuse me. Nate gets to 3-5. I think like the Patriots, going to be tough to make the playoffs, but it's a start. Jaguars, pretty tough loss for the Jaguars there. 6-2 would have put them in good position for a wild card spot. He's still there. Don't get me wrong. Jaguars are still there, but tough loss. You got to win those games. You should win at this point in the season. Colts, Bengals, and you know, again, Daryl's team's just steamrolling. Team still in this conference. This conference is a behemoth. The AFC is insane right now. But Daryl's got his team rocking and rolling, first place, and I believe it's the highest scoring team in the league, if I'm not mistaken. Actually, no, Browns are 1, Colts 2. That's fascinating. Okay, all right. Wow, that conference is insane. Let's get here to some NFC matchups. The Commanders, look at Blaine, 251, 121 over the Eagles. Big victory for the Commanders. Remember, Blaine's team was 1-4 3 weeks ago. He's now 4-4 and actually climbed into a playoff spot. Now he's got a tough schedule rest of the way. It's going to be tough, but you know, he could have packed it in at 1-4. He didn't. He decided to go all in, and he's battling back. Now, the fact that some teams like the Eagles in front of him have broken it down really helps, but still, you got to give him credit for making that decision to stay in it. Cowboys, Giants, no surprise here, but the Cowboys are continuing to roll. They got a good roster this year. This is Frank's best roster. I know he suffered an injury last week. I forgot who that was now, but still 242 points. Definitely one of the top teams in the conference right now. Lions, Buccaneers. Listen, Bushman's team is kind of rolling along. They're in a wild card spot for now. Take care of business against a Bucs team that's a little weaker this year. Bears, Falcons defending champs. They get to 7-1. They got the number 3 seed right now. They take care of business. Listen, the Bears have been taking advantage of a last place schedule. Was in the playoff hunt up until last week. And but at 140 points per game, like I said last week, that wasn't going to survive very long. Saints, Packers almost had an upset here, and that would have been huge for the #1 seed, but the Saints couldn't come quite back, falling 3 points short. The Packers, listen, Packers are just rolling right now. And they're just hot, ain't no undefeated. And listen, because they have a weaker schedule, because I believe I don't know if it's a last place schedule. It may have been a third place schedule from last year. I don't remember, but they may go undefeated. I'm going to tell you right now because of the schedule lineup. I was looking at it earlier. Panthers, Vikings, no surprise here. I think the guy that's got a decision to make here is actually Jesse with the Panthers. We'll talk about that in a minute. And finally, the Cardinals taking care of the Seahawks. Gremlins team put up 223 points there. And so those are the matchups. Let's go to the playoff brackets here. Let's start in the AFC. So as you can see here, and first of all, shout out to Dan reminding me there's a playoff bracket here. I don't have to figure it out in my mind as I'm doing this cast live here. But the Colts have the #1 seed right now, which is fascinating. And it's based on, what's it based on? Is it division record? No. Division record? No. Conference record. I don't know why. Total points? I don't know. No, it's not total points because Colts have the total points. Browns are leading everything. They even got a better conference record. Must be a tiebreaker. Was it head to head? That could have been as well too. I don't know if they play. Anyways, Colts are #1 right now. Browns are #2. Broncos 3, and the Bills 4. When we look at the wild card position, there they are, the Jets, the surprising Jets at 5-3, followed by the Raiders at 5-3, and the Jaguars at 5-3. And look at the Titans. They're right now on the outside looking in. My prediction would be that they pass the Jaguars, I think, before this thing is over. I just think they got a better roster top to bottom. Patriots, Texans, Ravens. It's going to be tough in this conference. You're going to really need somebody to slip, somebody to fall hard. And like I said, even if one team falls, you still got the Titans ready to pounce on that 7th spot there. So really, for anybody that's 4-4 or 3-5, you're going to need 2 of these teams to slip at the top of the wild card standings. And that's what you have there. I just think you're going to see these teams start to pull away in this conference. I think that 7th wild card spot is going to be fascinating to watch. It'll probably come down to the head-to-head matchup between the Titans and the Jaguars before the season is out. All right, so that's the AFC. I mean, good God, who'd want to be in this conference? When you're going to have the Colts, the Browns, the Bills, and even the Broncos, those wild card teams, wow, it's pretty amazing. All right, let's go down to the NFC now. And of course, Packers still holding on to the #1 seed after a close victory. The Rams are 2, followed by the Falcons and the Cowboys here. They hold the division playoff spots. And then the wild card is where it gets a little interesting here, as Gremlin and Bushman holding on to the 5 and 6 spot. And then the 7th spot is interesting because you actually have 3 teams tied at 4-4. But according to the tiebreakers here, it is the Commanders right now that hold that 7th spot. I'm assuming it's conference record at 4-2, right? That's what I'm thinking is what it is right now. But I think as the Bears continue to drop and it becomes a race between the Commanders and the 49ers, I believe the 49ers would actually jump on top of the Commanders because of the head-to-head matchup, because 49ers beat the Commanders earlier. What's going to have to happen here is, I think, keep an eye on the Cardinals, because the Cardinals have a tough schedule the rest of the way. Can the Cardinals maintain that wild card spot as the Commanders and the 49ers, right? Because I do believe 49ers are still maybe... I think the 49ers are top 4 in the conference. When I look at the power rankings, top 5. Let's call it top 5. I just think the tough last place schedule. And what it is with the 49ers is they really have a top end lineup at the top. I mean, it was a little short as far as depth, but with the emergence of Cedric Tillman, that really changes a lot. When you look at his receivers, he's got the running back, he's got the quarterback, he's got the impact player, Jamar Chase, loaded at linebacker, pretty good roster top to bottom. 49ers may be one of the best playoff teams, not to make it as of right now, though I think the 49ers are going to sneak in there somehow. I think what's going to be problematic is going to be both the Commanders and the Cardinals have very tough schedules the last 5 games of the year. We'll see if one of those two slip up. I think I haven't looked at the Lions schedule here. I'm assuming the Lions don't have as tough of a schedule because of the division that they're in. When you got, again, the Vikings and the Bears that are packing it in already, that gives you a couple more free wins before the season is over. And so I think that's going to be to the advantage of the Lions. Let's see what the Lions has here the rest of the way. Just curious here. Ooh, Browns next week. That's going to be tough. Ooh, Bills next week. That's going to be tough. Ooh, Falcons next week. That's going to be tough. Ooh, Raiders next week. That's going to be tough. And closes out with an easy victory with Minnesota. Boy, that wild card race is going to get crazy. That's a brutal schedule for the line. That may be the most brutal I see going down the stretch. And so what does that mean for the NFC wild card race? It can completely get turned upside down. I think it can. One of these teams is going to lose out. And I don't know which one it is because they actually all have tough schedules. Wow. In fact, let me look at the Cardinal schedule here. The Cardinal schedule. Let's see here. Giants next week, that's an easy win. 49ers, tough game. Jaguars, relatively tough. Cowboys, tough game. Rams, tough game. Yeah, I mean, brutal. I think, man, and then the Commanders have a tough schedule. Excuse me, I got a cough, guys. See, same here. Seahawks, Giants, those are easy, but close out with the Browns, the Rams, and the Cowboys. Listen, I don't know how this is going to work, guys. I can't even call this. I mean, these are 4 teams battling for 3 wild card spots. Who's going to survive this? I don't know. I have no idea. I mean, that's crazy. I think the AFC is much more cut and dry. I think it's I mean, don't get me wrong, you got a similar excuse me, geez, guys. You got a similar situation here with the Titans. They're trying to sneak in, but I just believe the Jaguars will probably fall. I'm not sure about the Jets and the Raiders. I think they'll continue to win, and I think the Titans will probably sneak in there, though I have not looked at their schedules. But in the NFC, that's crazy. The schedule all 4 of those potential wild card teams have, and who's going to get in there. So the question is, what about the Panthers? Can the Panthers squeeze in there at 3 and 5? Let's see what the Panthers schedule looks like, because there's going to be some losses there, guys. There is. Let's see what Jesse's team schedule is here, right? Bucks, easy game. Falcons will be tough. Bears will be a cakewalk. Saints is a cakewalk. Bucks cake. Listen, I'm going to tell you right now, it's a real possibility. The Panthers sneak in. If Jesse makes a move or two before the trade deadline, that would be crazy. That would be crazy because the schedule favors him, even though he's at 3 and 5. Outside looking in, the schedule favors him at the end of the year over all those other 4 teams looking at sort of the wild card positioning. It's going to be fascinating to watch, especially if Jesse could pull an upset against the Falcons. I know that'll be tough. Falcons got a strong team, but this NFC wild card race is going to be crazy. I guess the only other option here is I think the Rams are in good shape for the division title. I think the Falcons have it just about wrapped up as well, too. The Cowboys at 6-2. I think there's an upcoming battle between Commanders and Cowboys. If the Commanders can win that one, that would possibly, I don't know. It's going to be hard for the Commanders to catch the Cowboys, but it's possible. It's 2 games out, and he does got a head-to-head matchup against Cowboys still before this thing is over. But that wild card race in the NFC is going to be crazy. So there you have it, guys. That's week 8. I'm excited for next week. I'm excited to see some of these big battles in both the AFC and NFC. I'll talk to you later. Good night, everybody.